Hello guys, Alex from McVeigh Games here, and today I have another LORCANA gameplay video. I'm playing a steel purple deck, while my opponent will be on the standard steel amber deck. So, in my opening hand, I got a Ursula's Cauldron, a Baby Mal, a Friends from the Other Side, a Elsa, a Beast, a Tinkerbell, and another Friends. They ink a card, and they play Baby Stitch and pass. I draw a Fire the Cannons for turn. I ink a Beast, and then I just pass. I choose not to use Fire the Cannons. Then they ink a Captain Hook, and then they play a Lafau, and they're most likely going to quest the Baby Stitch and then pass turn. I draw a Captain Hook for turn, which is pretty decent, so I can probably inkwell a Tinkerbell or a Friends from the Other Side. I decide to go Tinkerbell here. That could be a misplay later. Play Captain Hook, and then decide to fire the cannon the Baby Stitch, because this prevents him from questing with Lafau unless if he has a Teenage Simba in his hand. So he draws for turn, has 5 cards in hand. We also have 5 cards in hand. They ink a Teenage Simba, very interesting. So deciding to not want to protect the Lafau and play a Baby Tink. So that could mean they could have a big Tink in their hand, but they're not going to quest anything, and they're most likely just going to pass because they don't really have any more plays. They're just thinking here. And then I draw a Grab Your Sword for turn. That's a okay top deck. It's uninkable, which kind of sucks. But I ink a Friends from the Other Side. I play a Middle Maleficent, and then I draw a Whole New World. That's kind of good. Unfortunately, the opponent has less cards than us, so it's not super great right now because we don't want them to get more card advantage. They ink a Smash. Now they're in range to be able to play a large Tinkerbell. And let's see if they do that. If they do, it would do decent, just because of the fact that they have a big guy in the field early. And they do. They play the Giant Tinkerbell, and then they quest the Lafau, which I'm fine with. And then probably gonna pass. I draw a big Tinkerbell, that's kind of good. We can. So we decided to play Cauldron here, which might be a misplay, because we could have potentially made other plays with these draws, like we could have played the Baby Tink, but we can't. And now we just have like 2 wasted ink. So that could have been a procedural error on our end. We trade the Captain Hook into the Lafau and we pass. The opponent's running low on cards, but with the amount of cards in their hand and with having a giant ink, they might be able to ink, play a guy, and then use a Whole New World. And that would really suck for us because that would be a lot of card advantage for them. Getting them right back into this game, especially with their impressive monster being Giant Tinkerbell. I guess they're just thinking what route they want to go. They decide to quest with Tinkerbell, which is interesting, and then they just pass. Draw a queen. That's good right in your inkwell. I guess we decide to use the cauldron first to base that play. We want the mirror, which I guess is fine, and then uninkable, which is unfortunate. This deck does have a lot of uninkables, which could be the problem with it, but it is one of the decks I'm just currently testing. May draw for turn, so probably gonna get another inkable, and then maybe have a playable card, and then sing a Whole New World and draw 7. That would be the most ideal situation for the yellow steel player. Yep, ink a Tinkerbell. Now they're at 6. They decide to play a Rock Star Stitch. Oh, geez, that's insane. And then they can, sing a Whole New World, draw 7, and then next turn they can just go off. And they got rid of a Grab Your Swords. We got one more. But they got rid of our baby giant Tinkerbell. So unfortunately, I don't think we have a way to deal with this Tinkerbell. They Grab Your Swords into a Smash the next turn could be pretty good, because that could get rid of the Rockstar Stitch, which is kind of a threat for us. But we have to hold the Grab Your Swords for next turn for when they play out their whole hand. So we decide to sing. We get a Jetson and a Baby Maleficent, Middle Maleficent. My bad. And then we can play Mirror. We can draw off Mirror if we want. Or we can decide to play Jetson. No, probably, yeah, Tinkerbell's good. Then we just pass. We could deal 2 damage to the Tinkerbell, but and I don't know. We're kind of in a weird spot right now. Ideally, we just need a top deck of a giant tank. Like if we don't top deck giant tank next turn, we just kind of like lose. Yeah, because he's just comboing. He's going off like crazy. This is just the power of yellow and steel cards combined. They just work so well together. But there were some procedural errors on my end, so I wasn't playing the most optimally. And they just have so much card advantage. This game's practically over. Like, it's going to take them a couple of turns to win, and I might be able to top deck out. But just card advantage wise, the opponent is so far ahead. And it's just unfortunate. They equal a baby Tink. Let's see if they're able to summon another 2-drop, and they do. They summons a Steel Eric, and then they draw another card. So their hand size is still at 7, which is remarkable. They were able to just put 4 guys on the field for absolutely free. And then, if they want to, they can attack with Tinkerbell into middle bluffs and they deal 2 damage to one of my tanks, but they might just pass. Or they could quest if they decide to. But I would doubt they want to put any of those large guys in threat. Because they have a lot. They have a lot of lore on field. 2, 5, 7, 9, 10. Yeah, they got 12 on field. So I can put them at 17 next turn. And they just wiped out my whole board. So with my equal only being at 6, it's practically game. We can put the Elsa on top so that next turn we can play it and then prevent the readiness of some of the characters. But currently we're only able to play Grab Your Swords and then play the Fire the Cannons and deal with a decent amount of their board. But we won't be able to deal with the Rockstar Stitch, which is just so oppressive. Which is essentially how they're beating us. The amount of free card advantage that comes off this Rockstar Stitch. And they draw for turn. Putting them at 6 cards in hand. So if they just had to Inkwell, they could potentially just have more fodder for their impending combo. But they don't combo completely and they play Rapunzel to just draw 2. But that's fair because it puts their Stitch out of smash range, which makes it a lot harder for us to deal with them. The Inca Aerial. And then here they can summon either a bunch of 1-drops or a couple of 2-drops if they decide. Or they go Rapunzel and draw 2 more, both netting just card advantage in general. And then questing with both, putting them at 10, and they currently have 9 on field. Yeah. So they're practically 1 away from game. We can play the Elsa, and then we can deal with... we don't even deal with them. We just, like, freeze them for a turn. Put top deck of Minimalefcent, and then just pass. We're not in a really good spot here. Their hand size is completely full, and they're able to quest for 4 this turn, and then they're able to pull their low drops and just draw a bazillion cards. Just showing the power of Rockstar Stitch if you don't have it out for him. Yeah, put 4 1-drops. Drawing 4 cards. Absolutely insane. Deck is kind of crazy when it goes off. No wonder it's the best deck. Play Ariel. See if they can grab a song here. Probably a low percentage because they've probably seen a couple songs already. Yeah, so they whiff. So I believe I did some math today on hitting songs. Late game, I don't have the math, but early game, assuming it's turn 3, a standard Amber Steel deck there's about a 67% chance to hit a song if you're playing Ariel turn 3 and you haven't seen a song in your opening hand. It goes down if you see a song in your opening hand to like 63%, but it's not too terrible. Then they just quest for 4, and they have just enough on board, even with putting the Grab Your Sword on top. We won't be able to do anything because we can sing a whole new world, draw 7, And then, like, we can play Grab Your Sword, but 3 Erics, that's wild. We can deal with the Lilos, like, we can deal with a lot of their board, but I think after that, they still have 10 quests on the field. Yeah, and they do. So, there's nothing that these draws can do. So, I'm just most likely going to do a nonsense play and then go to admitting defeat because there's not really anything I can do. Yeah. And there it is. That's the game. Purple Steel loses to Yellow Steel. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Peace.